Alright, so this is going to be my second video that actually has content to it. This is, so my first video I went over how I start seeds into pots. These are the ones that I started last Saturday, and it is now Wednesday. And I've had them under grow lights for the past couple of days. So when, everything's first coming up, I usually keep my stuff under grow lights for like 18 hours a day. To help them, break through the soil and that type of thing. One big thing, especially with tomato plants, is if you don't have good light on them, they get tall and long, and I've heard other people use the expression leggy. So you want to have good, strong light on them, especially when they're young. But I have three different types of grow lights here, and so I'm going to go over the first one. The first one is I got this off of Amazon. I guess it's made by November Spring, and I'm not a big fan of it. So it has this clip here, so it has to be clipped to something. Basically, the weight of the lights themselves, it's too much, and if it's not clipped to something, it just topples right over. The clip isn't very strong on it, and as you can see, just from here, I mean, I'm not even getting great coverage of all. Of my 72 cell start, and like I mentioned in my other video, that's what the 72 cell one looks like. And then here's that plastic dome. It's the humidity dome. I just use this as another base. The one thing though, if you're going to use the humidity dome as a base, is that it's not as strong as the base tray. So for me, I screwed up when I went to pick this up, because I got it started where my on my living room floor where my other video was, but when I went to pick it up, I picked this up from the edges, just on the two edges, and it ended up buckling. So you'll see some of the pots don't look like they've got much soil in them, because stuff kind of went everywhere. I did my best to get it back to where it was supposed to be, but I'm probably gonna have a Roma tomato plant growing in my sweet peppers, but I can remove it as need be. I mean, I've got plenty of seed starts, so losing one or two isn't a huge deal. But yeah, it's probably 4 or 5 of the cells are pretty messed up. But again, so this is the light that I got off of Amazon. Again, I'm not a huge fan of it. Yeah, it doesn't give you great coverage. The one nice thing about it is, if you can see here, is that it's a timer, and it also switches. So when you're first starting plants, you want this blue light. Blue light promotes growth, and then I can switch it also. So I can switch it to the pink purple light, and that promotes flowering and fruit growth. So if I wanted to have an indoor like tomato plant, and it's big enough, and I wanted it to start flowering, I could change the spectrum of light. And sorry, actually, it does both. So if you look here, that's pink, or the purple and blue. That's just the pink or purple. I don't remember exactly what it is. And then I just go just to blue right now, because that's the one positive feature about this one, is that you can change it. Oh, and if you look right there, I've got a Roma tomato seedling that just sprouted up. And in my other video, this is what I was talking about, the labelers. They're just plastic, and they're pointed so you can put them down into the dirt. So here I've got a 6 cell start of cherry tomatoes. I've got Brandywine pink tomatoes, Rugers, red carnival, red currants. I've got the beefsteaks. I've got Romas. I've got sweet peppers. These are the carnival sweet peppers, which is basically like a variety in color. In the back, I've got green peppers. I've got super sweet cherry tomatoes. I've got cauliflower. I've got Dutch cabbage growing. Not very much of those, but I'm going to do some more. And I've got another tray of Roma here. And then now I'm going down, and I think that was like $28, $29. Yeah, something about it. It was close to $30 for that grow light. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of that. And the clip is nowhere near strong as as strong as it needs to be. Oh, it's bright. All right, so going down, I'm gonna stand back up because that's so bright. Going back to, so what I've got on my second and third tray, these are bulbs that came from Walmart. They were about $13 each, and on each row, I have I have two of them. So for each row there, it's so 26 for for what I've got under here, and then 26 for what I've got under this one shining down, and then I got some iceberg lettuce coming up and 7 top turnip, nice. And then I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but if you look right here, and then right there, that's that mold that I was talking about by when you use these compressed fiber starter cells. Yeah, it just doesn't look that great, but I've never had it. It's never been a problem for my plants. They've always been fine. I think it's just because it's a moisture issue. It retains the moisture unlike the plastic. And really, these my trays here should really be higher. Now that stuff is starting to come through the surface, I'm going to put things down and raise them up because I really want those grow lights really down and direct so I get strong, healthy seedlings coming up. And these ones here, I don't know if you can really see, it's not coming through because it's so bright. But so you can't change it. Basically, it's alternating like 1-inch segments of like the red, purple, and then the blue. I think it's red, but it's like 1 to 2 inch segments, and it's just alternating, which is fine. But that one, it came with brackets. But what I had to do for hanging them in this greenhouse thing that I have, I had to get these brackets here, and I got these at Tractor Supply. They're less than $2 a piece, and the light is just propped up on them, and it works fine. So $26 for the grow lights, and then I think it was like $1.79 for the brackets. So there's $8, so $34 for that, and that's that setup for that shelf, and then again for that shelf, and then is there something else I wanted to cover on those? Again, no timer on those, and they tend to work okay. Oh, that's right. So the weird thing about them is even though this is the box that they come in, and it says grow light, has vegetables and everything on them, but I couldn't find them in the gardening section or anything like that. They actually have them in the hardware section next to like the fluorescent light bulbs. And not all Walmarts have them. I went to 3 in my area. 2 had them, and the 3rd didn't even have a spot for them. So it's not like they were just sold out or something. It just looked like they didn't carry them for whatever reason. And then the last grow light I've got here. This is just a shop light, and you'll see different things about the amount of lumens that they recommend, and I've heard everything from like 2,500 lumens for seed starting, but this one here, it was $21, and the ones that are blue and red, those are 2 foot lights, and then this shop light here is 4 feet, and it was $21, so you get a little bit more for your money by going that way, and it lets off 5,000 lumens. And what this one came with is I have it rigged up here on this greenhouse, and it's got these. I have these chains, and it came with zip ties to use, but they were really weak and flimsy, and I didn't want this thing going down. So I used bigger, stronger zip ties because I didn't want it to fall over. And as you can see, this one's bigger than my greenhouse, but I'll put a tray over there. Then I can put a big tray or a couple of smaller ones on the actual rack there, and then I've got some herbs and stuff growing over there, and yeah, so I mean I've got if I put a 72 cell tray on the bottom rack, and then another, I'd probably fit another 12 like I did there. Or is 9? Yeah, 9. So I could put another 9 over there, and I can get many other seed starts. But again, that's the box for the bigger one, Hyper Tough. And what I like about this is it actually uses LED lights. It doesn't use the big fluorescent bulbs that go boom. So I definitely like having the LEDs, and I mean it's plenty bright. I mean 5,000 lumens, and they recommend. I mean what I've seen, it's like 2,600 for seed starting indoors, but I'm sure other people use strong, more lumens. So again, when you're growing inside, or seed starting, these really should be lifted up. They should be like here, just a couple inches away from the light to get a stronger light. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put something down that's light that I can prop it up on. And let me think real quick if there's anything else I wanted to touch upon. Oh yeah, definitely. So these cells right here, if you look, the soil is still, dark brown. It doesn't look, too dried out. And a huge problem that you're going to have with seed starts is if you overwater them. If you overwater them, you're going to have mold and stuff growing, and it's just going to it can be a lot. It can take over the plant. So I only water when the top looks dry and brown. So like looking down here, these are some seeds that I had. When I feel this is just completely dry and hard and crusty. So I am gonna water my herbs again just to re-moisten that soil. And the way that I do it is I never pour water over the top. It's just messy. I always bottom water, so those cups actually have a hole in the bottom. And what I'm gonna do, the water's here, is I'm actually gonna fill it to water to right about here, like there, like a third of the way up. And I'm gonna put it in, just regular water. They don't need the fertilizer at this point. Like I said, they just need the moisture to come out of the seeds to germinate. So I'm just going to put water up to there, and then I'm just going to let them sit there for like 30 minutes. And then whatever they don't absorb within like 30, 45 minutes, I'll just dump out because I don't want them sitting in water. Same thing when the seeds come up. You don't want them just sitting in water because you're going to get root rot and the plants are going to die. I think that's everything I wanted to cover in this one. That's my last video for tonight, but I will film some more. If you guys are finding this information useful, let me know. Like I said, I just wanted to try to share how I do things and see if if anybody else was interested in it and they just needed some kind of how-to starting videos. And then if you're wondering about the greenhouse, I got the greenhouse at Ocean State Job Lot. They make a couple of different sizes. This one, I think, it was $20. And they make a bigger one, a much bigger one that's like a walk-in greenhouse. And that one was $50. I just don't have the room for one that big. But this one works fine. You could fit a 72 tray easy on each row. So, you could have about 300 seed starts. And then like me, where I have the shop light that's overhanging, I can even put stuff on the sides. So, I'm getting I can easily plant and start over 300 seeds inside. And the problem is that you have to remember is that when you're doing this inside and you're starting with all these small cells, that's fine. But at some point, especially like for me, I'm starting in mid-March. I live in Maine. These plants are going to get to a size that I'm going to need to move them to a bigger container. I'm going to need to move them to like containers that are this big. So they can't stay in those forever. And then, when I'm moving all of these little individual cells over, these plugs over to the bigger containers, where are you do you have enough room for that? So I'm definitely gonna have my hands full because I started quite a bit. I got excited this year, but that's just another consideration. All right, thanks for watching.